Hey, good morning, guys. It is Friday morning heading into a holiday weekend, and just thought I'd make a video for a quick shop update here. Turn the camera around for a second. The last video I made, it was, wow, you guys really jumped on that with the comments, and some people agreed with me, some people disagreed with my approach, and you know what? That's just how it is. When you make videos on YouTube and you put an opinion out there, take a strong stand on something, you're going to get people agreeing with you, and you're going to get people that don't agree with you. But I think, you know, maybe 60-70% of the people agreed with the approach. Here's the thing, you know, this is, you know, I think the opinions on these kind of things really stem from how we grew up. You know, what kind of environment did we grow up in? Meaning, you know, not just your childhood, but your early working years. You know, where did you work? What kind of values were you taught? What kind of processes and environment did you work in? And those influence, you know, your thoughts and ideas as you move more into the, you know, more, let's say, senior years, I guess. And for me, at a very, very early age, I was put in positions to fail. And I wouldn't trade any of that for anything, because it taught me, you know, to be accountable for my mistakes. And, you know, that if I failed, it wasn't, hey, let me look around and we all failed together. You know, there's no 8-year-old soccer team participation trophies here. And in the real world, that's just, you know, unless you get lucky and work for a place like Greg Porter does, where, you know, everybody shares the same idea and it's shared failure and shared success. You know, that's just, it's just rare. Not many places have that. And it can work well, I think, in certain environments. And listen, you know, if somebody fails, somebody makes a mistake, somebody has an oversight, it's not a license to jump on them and criticize them and kick their ass. I never said that. I never said I wasn't going to pay them. I never said anything like that. It's just you know, there's opportunities in everything for all of us to be constantly learning and growing and to be coached up. Sometimes we can see those for ourselves, and sometimes we need other people to point them out for us. And, you know, and it's my role as a leader and owner of the company here to point that out to the people that work here. And it's not that I don't like the guy. It's not that I don't appreciate all the hard work he does. I very much do, and I tell him that often. So anyway, enough about that. It was interesting that it kind of riled up a lot of opinions. You know, a lot of people leave a comment on a video and say, hey, cool stuff, or nice work, or, you know, just little things like that, where you can tell that maybe you didn't really care so much about what the project was or whatever, which is fine. And I realize that every video I make, you know, not everybody is going to sit there glued to it and go, wow, that's awesome. You just kind of watch it in the background and it's like, yeah, there's Gary making some more stuff. But this particular one, there was no sort of haphazard comment. Everybody had a very strong opinion for the most part, one way or the other. And I also realized I didn't provide a lot of the background. One of the things I didn't tell you was that this guy is very much an idea guy. He's constantly, no matter what I say, he has an idea for a different way. And it's just in his personality. There's a lot of people like that. It probably stems from some insecurity or whatever. And most of the time, I just let him, you know, if he says, nah, you know, why don't we do it this way? I just let him go with it. And even some things that I'm working on, I'll go to him and say, you know, hey, what would you think about this? Just as a point of conversation. You know, and I may take a suggestion or I may not. But, you know, he's just one of those guys where he's got an opinion and he's got an idea on everything. And that's not a bad thing. But I'd say about 60 to 70% of the time, his idea is a little misguided and gets him in trouble, causes some rework. And listen, I had somebody tell me this a long time ago. The owner of the company that I used to work for, in fact, told me this. He said, I'm willing to pay for some education, meaning I'm paying you on the clock and I'm willing to pay you to learn. I'm willing to pay for some education. I'm just not looking to pay for a full-time student, meaning you can't be constantly learning and making mistakes like every day, all day. We got to get some work done at some point, and sometimes you just got to do what I say. So, anyway, enough of that rambling. I'll just give you some quick updates here on things going on. Yeah, you can see a big bunch of mess out on this table. This is a project I'm working on, a little production work going on here. I'm building 10 of something. and I'm making videos on that. You can see the camera set up on the lathe over there. But I've got it in various stages right now, and it's highly organized, and there is a great amount of efficiency and process in the way I've got this organized here. I know you guys looking at it probably don't see that or don't understand it, but here's more of it over here. Well, that's just some of the stock, the solid stock I'm working from. Here is one of the parts machined out of some solid stock and flat stock. Pretty happy with this, you know, getting things to tolerance, and always nice to see a machine part with the chamfering, and you know, when you get a nice surface finish on it. Some of that nice surface finish I had to help along with a little hand polishing on the lathe, but that's how it goes. And then here's my first time doing an internal bore on something, and you know, miking that out with the internal mics and internal oh, what do you call those things? I don't have them over here right now. Telescope gauges. So you know, one of the things that you hear people talk about this is kind of learning your machines, and you know, what is the ratio between how much you move the dial. Let's say I move it 20 thousandths here, but does it take 20 thousandths or does it take 8 thousandths, you know, there? And I'm starting to learn that a little bit, you know, especially on the finer cuts. If I take a deep cut on this machine, I mentioned this before, let's say I take 50 thousandths cut, it'll be pretty close to a 50 thousandths per side cut on that. But if I take 10 thousandths, it takes like 2 thousandths off, you know, because it just does not, it's just glancing and glossing over it. It seems like it deflects the tool more. And I realize that, you know, tools stick out and deflection and the part stick out, how far it's out, you know, all those things become factors in that. So, you know, just kind of learning it a little bit. I got a lot more to learn on it. Monday, Martin is coming back, and we're going to try to figure out why the automatic feed on this has stopped working. The Texas gun guy. And then we're going to spend a little time getting this big bad boy up and running. I've just been kind of making my way down to it. You know, got that mill up and running. You see me use that in the videos all the time. And then got the lathe now running. We're just kind of making our way over. This was the last one because I didn't really, you know, once you have one mill up and running, it's not a lot different, although it is going to be nice to have the DRO and not having to be manually, you know, calculating with a magnetic dial indicator. Which that works pretty well. It's again, it's the same thing, you know. Just because you have a dial indicator on it and you're trying to take a 1/2 inch depth of cut and you move down a 1/2 inch on your dial indicator, it doesn't exactly translate to the thousandths on that machine. Pretty close to it, but not exactly. So you have to kind of sneak your way up on stuff. Here's the countertops. These came out really nice. Really was pleased with how these came out. They came out super smooth, and then you know, had a little few voids here and there, and we used a Portland cement mix, which I think I showed you that in the last video or asked about it, to put a slurry coat over it. And you know, when you put a slurry coat on something, you use your hand with a glove and just you rub it in and push it into the pores and all, and then you let it dry and come back and sand it or grind it. And when that was left on there, I actually kind of liked the look of the slurry coat. So when we did all the sanding, we left a few of the slurry, you know, rub-in places in there. And then a few areas where it sanded through, the Portland cement slurry was a slightly darker color than the base cement. And you can see where that bled through. And then imperfections in the urethane finish, which is the same stuff I used on the floor. Is it food grade? No. But here's the thing. Every finish that you can put on a countertop becomes food grade once it's 30 days, you know, 45 days have gone by and all the solvents have completely evaporated out of the, which obviously this is waterborne, so there shouldn't be many if any solvents in it. Maybe there is, I don't know. It is catalyzed, but so yeah, pretty happy with that. It's got an undermount sink going in it. You can see the studs in the concrete from underneath. And we ended up having to cut this one in half, and we're going to rejoin it and blend it once it gets mounted in the counters in there. So anyway, just a little shop update. Hope you guys have a good Memorial, let's see, is it Labor Day? Yeah, Labor Day weekend here. And again, I just, wanted to say thank you to everybody who supports the channel. And, the giveaway on this thing, I got a lot of good comments and people sharing that out. And, and some genuine guys that really want this thing and, could use it in their shop. And some young kids, there's at least 3 or 4 young guys, like 15 years old, that really want to try to win this, and I could just tell how much it would mean to them. And so I'm happy to be giving this away. But I really do appreciate all you guys and all your help and support and comments and thinking about me and that kind of thing. Got Greg Porter scored me a whole bunch of tools from a machine shop, fab shop that's going out of business. So you'll see a big package coming with a bunch of tooling in that with some very cool carbide insert drills. I don't know if many of you guys have used those, but it's actually a drill bit, but it's uses carbide inserts instead of just being a regular twist drill. They use them a lot in CNC machines, and so I've never used any, but he got me some with new inserts to go with them in the box, and at a really good price. So Greg, thanks for that. All right, guys, I hope you have a good weekend. We'll see you soon.